Phoenix Lights, March 13, 1997, began like any other evening in the Arizona desert. Families gathered for dinner, commuters headed home, and the vast expanse of the Sonoran Desert settled into its familiar twilight rhythm. But as darkness fell, thousands of people across Phoenix and the surrounding valleys would witness something that defied explanation, a phenomenon so massive and undeniable that it would become known as one of the most significant UFO events in modern history. At approximately 8:15 p.m., the first reports began trickling in. Witnesses across a 300-mile corridor stretching from Nevada through Arizona described seeing an enormous V-shaped formation moving silently across the desert sky. This wasn't a fleeting glimpse or a questionable blur in someone's peripheral vision. This was a craft so massive that it blocked out entire sections of the star-filled desert sky, witnessed simultaneously by thousands of people from all walks of life. The object appeared to be roughly a mile wide, consisting of 5 distinctly bright lights arranged in a perfect V formation. What struck witnesses most profoundly was the complete silence. Something that enormous should have produced tremendous noise, yet it glided through the atmosphere with the quiet grace of a shadow. Dr. Lynn Kitei, a respected physician and health educator, was among the first to document the event. From her mountainside home in Paradise Valley, she watched in amazement as the formation passed directly overhead. It was bigger than anything man-made I'd ever seen, she later recalled. It just drifted silently, purposefully, like it owned the sky. The witnesses came from every demographic imaginable: pilots, police officers, military personnel, teachers, doctors, construction workers, and retirees. Children pointed from backyards while their parents scrambled for cameras. Air traffic controllers at Sky Harbor International Airport confirmed they had no aircraft on radar, matching the descriptions flooding in from across the valley. Within minutes of the first sighting, 911 dispatch centers across the Phoenix metropolitan area were overwhelmed with calls. Emergency operators trained to handle crisis situations found themselves struggling to process reports that seemed to come from science fiction. 911, what's your emergency? There's this huge thing in the sky. It's got lights and it's completely silent. Ma'am, can you describe what you're seeing? It's enormous, bigger than anything I've ever seen. It's blocking out the stars. The calls kept coming. Not just a few isolated reports, but hundreds of them. Callers were articulate, coherent, and describing remarkably similar phenomena. Police departments dispatched units to elevated positions throughout the city, and officers confirmed the sightings, adding their own professional observations to the growing body of testimony. Luke Air Force Base, located west of Phoenix, initially claimed no knowledge of any military exercises that could account for the sightings. The National Weather Service reported clear skies with excellent visibility. Commercial airlines confirmed all their aircraft were accounted for and on scheduled routes. 2 months later, the military offered an explanation that satisfied few witnesses. Officials claimed the lights were illumination flares dropped during a training exercise at the Barry Goldwater Range, a military training area southwest of Phoenix. They insisted the flares, suspended beneath parachutes, created the illusion of a massive structured object when viewed from great distances. The explanation raised more questions than it answered. Flares fall relatively quickly and burn out within minutes, yet witnesses observed the formation for over an hour as it traveled hundreds of miles. Flares drift with wind currents and separate irregularly, yet the Phoenix Lights maintained perfect formation and consistent spacing throughout their journey. Most challenging to the flare theory was the timing. The military claimed their exercise began at 10 p.m., yet the primary sightings occurred between 8:15 and 8:45 p.m. When pressed on this discrepancy, officials suggested people were confusing separate events, dismissing the detailed, consistent testimonies of thousands of observers. Perhaps no witness faced a more complex situation than Arizona Governor Fife Symington III. As the state's chief executive, he was expected to provide leadership and reassurance to concerned citizens. Publicly, his administration supported the military's flare explanation and even held a press conference featuring a staff member in an alien costume, seemingly mocking the entire incident. However, 10 years later, in 2007, Governor Symington made a stunning revelation. He admitted that he too had witnessed the Phoenix Lights and knew immediately that what he saw was not conventional aircraft or military flares. I witnessed a massive delta-shaped craft silently navigate over Squaw Peak, a mountain range in Phoenix, Arizona, he stated. It was truly breathtaking. As a pilot and a former Air Force officer, I can definitively say that this craft did not resemble any man-made object I'd ever seen. Symington explained that his public skepticism was a deliberate attempt to prevent panic and maintain order while authorities investigated the phenomenon. His later admission lent unprecedented credibility to the witness accounts and highlighted the complex challenges faced by public officials when confronting unexplained phenomena. Unlike many UFO incidents, the Phoenix Lights were extensively documented on video. Amateur photographers and videographers captured the formation from multiple angles and locations throughout the valley. The most famous footage, shot by various witnesses, shows the distinctive V-shaped pattern of lights moving steadily across the sky. Analysis of the videos by experts and skeptics alike confirmed several key points. The lights maintained consistent formation over vast distances. They exhibited no conventional navigation lights required for aircraft, and their size and behavior were inconsistent with known military or civilian aviation technology. What makes the Phoenix Lights particularly compelling is the remarkable consistency of witness testimonies over more than 2 decades. Unlike many UFO cases where details change or embellish over time, the Phoenix accounts have remained remarkably stable. Witnesses continue to describe the same massive, silent, V-shaped craft with the same awe and certainty they expressed in 1997. Dr. Kitei, who became one of the incident's most dedicated researchers, spent years interviewing witnesses and analyzing evidence. Her documentation revealed that people from vastly different locations and backgrounds all described virtually identical phenomena, suggesting a single real event rather than mass hysteria or misidentification. The Phoenix Lights fundamentally changed the conversation about UFO phenomena in several important ways. First, the sheer number of credible witnesses made dismissal or ridicule far more difficult. Second, the quality of documentation provided researchers with unprecedented evidence to analyze. Third, the eventual admission by Governor Symington demonstrated that even public officials privately acknowledge the reality of unexplained aerial phenomena. The incident also highlighted the challenges faced by authorities when confronting events that don't fit conventional explanations. The military's flare explanation, while technically possible for some later sightings, failed to account for the primary event that thousands witnessed earlier that evening. Today, the Phoenix Lights remain one of the most thoroughly documented and widely witnessed UFO events in history. The desert around Phoenix continues to attract researchers, tourists, and those seeking answers to questions that conventional science has yet to address satisfactorily. Whether the lights represented extraterrestrial visitation, advanced military technology, or some unknown natural phenomenon, their impact on witnesses and the broader conversation about unexplained aerial phenomena cannot be denied. The desert winds carry many stories across the vast Sonoran landscape, but this one remains the clearest. On March 13, 1997, thousands looked up, saw something extraordinary, and none who witnessed it have ever forgotten. In our age of smartphones and constant documentation, it's humbling to remember that sometimes the most profound mysteries unfold, not in distant places or ancient times, but right above our heads, witnessed by thousands, yet still defying our understanding of what's possible in the world we think we know.
If you saw this in the skies over South Florida, would you call me and say, hey, Rob, get a news camera over here? There's something weird going on? Well, these formations appeared last night in the sky over downtown Phoenix, as you see there. The same light formation appeared over parts of Arizona 10 years ago. Now, a movie was made on the formation of the lights, which was released a couple of weeks ago on DVD. But the Federal Aviation Administration says there's a simple answer to the mystery. They're military flares. Get another look at these lights. You can see them on CBS4.com. So nothing to worry about there. Nothing.